Alpha Software Demo and Q&A webcast. I'm Dave McCormick, VP of Product Management here at Alpha Software. And today I have a special guest who's going to show you something really cool. I have Dan Darkin from Start Software. Dan has been playing around with AI for some time, and he's been using it to help him create applications in Alpha Anywhere. I don't want to steal his thunder by explaining what he's done, but when you see what he's done, I think you're going to be amazed. I haven't seen it. I've only had it described, and yet I'm very excited anyway. So first of all, welcome, Dan.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you very much.
And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump right in. I'm going to make you the presenter. And if you want to share your screen, we can do that. So let me just find you here. Set you to make presenter, and you're going to see a dialog box on your screen, and I think you get to choose which screen you want to see from there too.
Okay, cool. So there we go. Can you see my screen? Can you see my PowerPoint?
I can.
Fantastic. Great. Excellent. Well, thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me on. I thought it'd be a fun one to share with yourself and the rest of the Alpha community. It was actually a really interesting one.
Normally we are against having fun on these webcasts. So
okay.
So this is going to be a break. If you guys don't like it, we can go back to the old format. But
so just a quick intro for me. So for those of you that don't know me, my name's Dan Darkin. I'm a developer here at Start, and we're based over in the UK. We've been using Alpha for a long time. I think it was back in the V10 days, Dave. So that's got to be what, 15 years ago, something like that.
Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we've been Alpha lovers for a long period of time, and yeah, we'd class ourselves as Alpha specialists, definitely. So that's just a little bit about me. What I'm going to be talking about today is ChatGPT. Is it an Alpha developer's best friend? Well, I didn't think so until a few weeks ago, and then I found this and thought, actually, it could very well be. So what am I going to be doing today? Basically, going to be talking you through how I converted a screenshot into quite a complex UX component using view boxes as controls, and yeah, all sorts of different layouts and design features and things like that. So it's a pretty cool concept, literally going from a screenshot into a complex Alpha component. So that's enough of my boring slides here. I'll jump right into the meat of it, and we'll get started. So I suppose the place that we started from this is we're talking to one of our clients, and they were asking about UI design and had various questions, just general HTML, CSS sort of things. And obviously that's the great thing about Alpha. You can plug in all of this and you can go down to a really detailed level and get that in there. And he was asking about how we go about designing UXs and different UIs and stuff. And I said, okay, I can talk you through that. Have you got any examples of what you're after, really? So he literally just sent me through a screenshot and said, this is the kind of thing that we're looking for. So can you see my Chrome now, Dave? Has that switched over?
Yes, once I come off mute. Yeah, I do. It says vendor portal up there at the top left. Is that what I should be seeing? Okay, great.
That's the one. Yeah, lovely. So this is the screenshot that he sent through and said, this is the kind of thing that I want to create in Alpha. Can we do it? So I thought, yeah, we can definitely do it. Might take a little bit of work thinking on how we could do the style, that sort of stuff. But initially I was looking at this and I was thinking, menu on the left, no problem, control bar at the top, probably a list, maybe a view box, another list, something like that. So you can just see how it would piece together with your standard Alpha controls in a UX. So I thought, well, let's ask ChatGPT to see if it can generate the HTML and CSS for us. And that'll give us a flying start, and then we can start to plug it all in. So literally all I did was upload the screenshot and just said, can you generate me the HTML and CSS? Nothing else, no other context given to it, didn't give it any other details. That was literally it. And this is what it came back with. So it gave me all of the HTML with the CSS in, and it's got a cool little preview tool here. So if I open that up, you can see what it looks like. So that was what it gave me. And even cooler, it took into fact that I was using dark mode as well. So it switched it from my light mode screenshot into my settings for dark mode. So that looks pretty cool. We've got a good base to go off now. We can lift some of these CSS classes and drop those into alpha and plug those up with view boxes and that sort of stuff. And yeah, we're away and going. But then we decided to try and take it a step further. So generated all of that, absolutely brilliant. And also if I put this into just a HTML editor just over here, you can see that's what we've got there. So it's straight away plug and play, no problem. So after that, we thought, well, let's see if we can create it in Alpha anywhere using view boxes. So again, really simple prompt, didn't go into any detail explaining what Alpha was or pointing it at any documentation or anything like that. And just before I go on to the next bit, I've been using ChatGPT-5. So this is the latest model, and it's really powerful. It does a lot of thinking and analyzing, and you don't have to give it much context, and it's aware and picks things up. So you can see before it came back with the response, it actually thought about what it was going to do for 28 seconds, and you can see this is the breakdown of what it was thinking to itself before it actually output the response, which is really cool. So I've done barely anything at this point, just asked it to do it, and it's come back with essentially a step-by-step guide on how I can build that layout here in Alpha Anywhere using view boxes. So I literally just followed the guide, followed the step-by-step. Now, it didn't get everything right first go. There were a couple of minor things that it didn't quite get right, but I'll talk you through everything in here. So it literally gave me all of the CSS and just said, drop this into your local CSS. It then gave me some JavaScript and said, pop these in your JavaScript functions. And you can just see from here, it's setting up sample data from functions, things like that. And that's basically what it was doing with the JavaScript and a couple of refresh options. We'll come back to that in a moment. And then it said, this is what you want to do to your UX. So create a container, add this particular class, create a view box, add this class, set the data to be populated from this JavaScript function. So bear in mind, I've given it no context of how a view box is set up or anything. It's just gone, do this, and this. And then said, okay, and each of those view boxes, pop in these templates in here. So again, I just added in those, pasted in your HTML. And yeah, that was it. I literally followed it step by step. Now, you'll notice if we just go to this one here, those of you that are familiar with view boxes and client-side templating, the syntax is actually used here isn't Alpha specific client-side templating. It's slightly incorrect syntax. And I noticed that when I was pasting it in. So I just thought, oh, I'll fix it myself. So I went through, I basically said, the client-side templating's off. I've fixed it. This is what I've done. And then came back with some other problems and basically just told it what I was getting back, and it said, oh, okay, put this CSS in. And I won't go through all of these in detail, but it was a case of, okay, try this, some more CSS. And essentially, it probably took me 8 prompts back to ChatGPT, just confirming and clarifying various things. And this is what I ended up with. So I'll show you my UX first. So this is what it looked like in alpha. So literally I just followed those steps, Dave, that it gave me. Create a container, add a particular class to it, create another container, add that class, create a view box, and then we'll just jump into one of these. And then pop in your layout. So I was literally pasting things in. I wasn't doing any formatting here, I was just copying and pasting, setting the data source. In this particular one, there wasn't one populated, but if we go to another one, this one's probably got populating from some data. Where are we? One of these. One of them will have data in. Let's have a look at this. Probably got it in. There we go. So you've got the JavaScript function to populate your actual template in here. So you've got your placeholders and stuff. And it literally taught me all the way through that. And this is the end result. So this is UX in alpha from that particular set of instructions and that prompt. And that is what we've got. So that is an alpha UX using completely standard view boxes, containers, all of the normal alphabets and pieces. And as well as it, I personally think it looks great. Some people might not be keen on the color scheme, but as well as doing all of that, it's added in some responsiveness as well to hide the menus and make the cards wider and that sort of stuff, all as part of that view box stuff. So I'd say that's pretty cool going, wouldn't you say, Dave?
Wow, that is really quite amazing.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
a couple of questions here, like the
okay,
all the stuff where it's like open and submitted, those things, are those all done with the CSS that was created by ChatGPT, or did you do some tweaking to make those look nice, those buttons?
Which bits? Sorry, Dave. Like these bits.
Yeah,
here?
those, right? Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was all done by ChatGPT. So it picked up from my original screenshot. If we just open this up,
Yeah.
it had some sort of indicator type thing with some color coding.
Nice.
And
yeah,
it picked that up and dropped it in, and it's just using essentially CSS classes and assigning those to those particular cells in a table, I think this is. But it's pretty cool, isn't it?
that
Pretty
is
cool.
really, really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on a second.
And did you say there was another question? Sorry, Dave.
I'm trying to look, although I'm having a little problem with my GoToWebinar interface at the second. It's not as responsive as I would like, but anyway, everything else is coming through.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. So now, so it even built JavaScript functions that then populated the data, like sample data in the view boxes.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's it. That's it. So if I
Can
just
you show us that? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, if I jump back to my UX over here, it's literally created sample data
Uh-huh. Yeah.
in the JavaScript functions, and then this is what I'm using to then populate view box or whatever part of the screen that I want to populate.
Mhm.
So obviously it's static data at the moment, so you can just get to see how it looks. But without much more work, you could easily set up some client-side data caches and get this to actually populate real data from
Sure.
a SQL database, for example, or wherever your data stored. You could actually just plug that in straight away, and because you're using your JavaScript functions to populate, you could then obviously call your client-side data cache stuff and populate it that way. So it's just a way of getting it to show on screen how you'd like it to look, and then you could plug in real data would be really straightforward. So that's one of the examples I've gone with, and I thought let's try this again and just see if it was a one-off or whether I could get it to do it again and the same sort of prompt. So I think it took me 8 to do this last time. So if I just jump back into here, I've got another ChatGPT channel going here. And again, same thing, similar sort of thing. I just said, can you generate me the HTML and CSS? And it did, it went through and did it. And this one used a slightly different style. I didn't specify anything to it. I just said do that. And again, I probably prefer this style, I think, to the other one. But I think both look pretty good. But anyway, it did the same thing, generated me the HTML, CSS.
Wow.
But it went through slightly different steps in how to do it. So before it was a step-by-step thing. This one was, it did give me step-by-step, but it wasn't in the same structure. But again, it said, basically follow these instructions and you can do it. So go to a UX, add your boxes, do this. And I won't go through all of the details, but it's similar sort of thing. And then this is the other UX. So no containers this time. It's simply 5 view boxes and that's it. And again, it's just told me what view boxes to create. It's given me the CSS to drop into your local CSS here. And it handled things such as, you know, for example, controls can get wrapped in the A5W layout, containers and stuff. It handled those to make it so you could show the view boxes next to each other without having to do more amendments to your view box and stuff. So it did quite a lot in CSS as well. So it was trying to do as much as it could for you. So you had as little to do in alpha as you could. So it's basically saying, add these things, paste this in, do this, and it'll just sort itself out. But that being said, because it's dropped that in, and you're in alpha now, you can use any of the built-in functions that you've got. So you can just hook into all of your JavaScript actions, absolutely everything. If you've got code that already exists in your project and you want to hook stuff up, you can just hook into. So it's basically just utilizing alpha to its absolute full potential, so you can use all of your alpha functionality and controls and everything like that. But it's just taking the legwork out of actually just setting up that initial component, really.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
I mean, such a time saver. Really.
Absolutely.
Now we have another question here, and it had to do with dark mode. Like, so the one that you showed wasn't in what I would consider to be a dark mode, but what we got back from ChatGPT was a dark mode one. Is that something switchable within the template, or did it just say, hey, I think I'm going to do it as dark mode this time?
So yeah, in that particular one, it came back and just said, I'm going to do this as dark mode, presumably because I've got everything on my machine set as dark mode.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
However, when I was testing something else out, which I'll go into a bit more detail in a moment, it said, oh, by the way, do you want me to add a toggle so you can swap between light mode and dark mode? So it can do stuff like that for you as well if you just prompt it and get it to do what you want, and it will just change the CSS that's been used. It'll probably use CSS variables actually and just change those values. But it actually asked me in a different chat if I wanted to just add a toggle on for that, which is quite cool, I thought.
That is quite cool. Yeah.
And then,
so for the view box definition, I think you've already showed this, but it is a question just to be sure that we've covered it. Can you show where you copied and pasted the instructions from ChatGPT into the view box definition? We did see it for the JavaScript, but just
yeah, of course. Yeah,
one more time for the people in back, as we like to say.
Absolutely. Yeah, let me go back to this. Okay, so we'll get down to the view box stuff. So view box templates. So if we jump back into alpha and I go to my first example. If we go to one of these view boxes, any one of these will do. We open up the view box properties, and then where I was pasting the HTML was just in the view box layout over here. So to get the layout to show, in this particular one, it's just hard coded. So it was just a view box type of HTML, and we're defining it and just simply pasting in the HTML. nice and simple. On some of the view boxes, it was slightly different, and it did tell me to do this in the instructions. If I go down to the detail one, I think that's got some data in. We go over to the data source. It actually said change the view box type to data, JavaScript function, and then this is the name of the JavaScript function that's going to essentially populate that data source.
Yeah.
And then I pasted in again the HTML into here, and then as you can see, we've got the placeholders which are reading from the data source. So this is going to be from that JavaScript function. We've got a bid.summary field, a bid.deadline, etc., and that's where they populate. And if we flip over,
did ChatGPT make those placeholders correctly for you when it came?
So the first time round it didn't.
Okay.
It basically did double curly brace.
Oh, I see.
And when I was doing like a loop like this, it did something like this.
Right.
Slightly incorrect syntax.
Yeah.
But that was on my first run round, and I said, look, you've got this wrong. I fixed it now, no problem.
That's right. Don't do
However,
double curly braces. Yeah.
That's it. When I did my second run round, it picked up that I'd told it that it was wrong, and it did that correctly this time I went through. So it's like learning from me, telling it things, and you can say in ChatGPT, remember this and stuff like that, and it'll store it in memory. It'll actually say, yeah, remembering this, storing this. So then in future chats, when you ask it to do something, it'll use that existing knowledge to help answer the question better, essentially. So the more I keep doing this, the better it's going to get at building the viewbox layouts and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's really cool. And what I've been working on, but I haven't finalized yet, is a custom GPT in ChatGPT. So I'm basically training it to build UXs from screenshots and giving it a lot more prompts and a lot more detail. To be honest, with ChatGPT 5 as it is at the moment, that without any additional prompting and stuff is almost as good as me telling it to go and look here for the documentation and do this. It just picks it up and it knows.
Great.
It's absolutely brilliant. And yeah, it's a case of the techniques it came through and showed, really useful. You can build really nice looking UXs from a screenshot, which I thought was just awesome. It's a case of
it really is. Yeah.
See a picture of a system and go, that looks great, and then you try and implement it, and I'm sure you've had this before, Dave, where you're doing it and it just doesn't quite turn out as you want it to turn out, and you go, oh, hang on a minute, I'm doing something wrong here. So it's a great way.
It is great to have it like sort out the style, the CSS, the JavaScript, and all that. Yeah, it's extraordinary. So last week we did a webinar on styling an application, and I showed how in the past I would take something that, like a screenshot of something that I wanted, and then I would go into like Photoshop and use the eyedropper to figure out what colors there were being used in the photo, and then I would make some reasonable assumptions about what the fonts were and things like that. And then just the whole notion now that I can just paste that into ChatGPT and say, and not only will it do it, it'll write the CSS for you, which you've done here. So you've really taken that like way beyond what I've done, but this is so cool. So I hope people give this a go. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, even if you didn't go to this extent and get it to tell you step by step what to do in a UX to achieve that layout, just getting it to generate your HTML and CSS. I mean, the CSS is the key to it, isn't it? You can drop that in and then just apply that to your list styles or your view boxes or whatever you want. Yeah, really cool stuff. Really cool stuff.
Absolutely amazing. Let's see, there are two more sort of comments here.
Okay, yeah.
One is, hey, maybe you should try to train it to create the A5W CMP in the future. Now, that would be a neat trick.
Well,
All right, we're gonna walk before we run here. So this is pretty. That would be kind of cool.
I say that, Dave. It's funny that was mentioned. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that Robin managed to get it to generate a UX from just some prompts, and it did actually generate the actual component itself. I think it was quite simple. There was just a couple of drop downs on the UX, but I'm pretty sure he managed to actually get that working. So hey, I'll take that up as a challenge and see if we can get it.
That's cool. In fact, we have Robin on the line. I won't put him on or anything like that, but he's made a couple comments here in the back, and one was that actually he has done that, and he can show that. So definitely we'd like to see that at some point. The other thing is, he said, tell Dan that I'm on the call and I'm thinking of sharing his salary with ChatGPT. I don't know about that. That's not a good one at all.
No.
Yeah.
No, you should have kept that one.
No. You're right. Sorry. Don't shoot the messenger on this one, Robin. Don't. Okay. We need Dan working full capacity here. Thanks. Yeah, and someone said, do I remember right that UXs can be converted to JSON? And if it can, what is the earliest version with that functionality? Saving as JSON is, I can't put a finger on when we started doing that, but it was at least several years ago, if not more.
Yeah,
so that would make it actually quite, yeah. So this is, so that makes it just that much closer to being able to automate the process of having them being built, since it's already in JSON to begin with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dan, this has been fantastic. Thank you very, very much for showing what you have here. Any final notes or things you want to share? Or
no, I think that's probably covered everything I wanted to go through, to be honest, Dave. I just wanted to share with everyone just some of the things we've been working on and trying out. And it's some really powerful stuff. It's absolutely fascinating, to be honest.
It sure is. Yeah. Hey, thank you very, very much for sharing. Thank you, everyone, for showing up today. If you have future questions, send them over to guides, guides@alphasoftware.com. Also, do you just want to put up a quick on the screen, the Start Software website?
Yeah, sure, no problem. So that's our website.
You are right there, startsoftware.com. Check them out. They do good work. All right. Hey, thanks again. Talk to you all soon.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, everyone.